The acrid stench hit me like a slap from hell itself. Thick black smoke billowing up from what used to be my quiet corner of suburbia, twisting the sky into a nightmare canvas right as I pulled into Elmwood Estates after a grueling work trip. Flames danced mockingly from the roof of my own damn house, the one I'd poured my life into, while a crowd of so-called neighbors stood there like statues, sipping coffees and whispering as if this was just another block party gone wrong. And there, front and center, clipboard in hand like a scepter of petty power, was Gloria Hargrove, the self-crowned queen of the Elmwood Estates Homeowners Association. Her lips curled in that signature smirk that screamed, "I told you so," even as my world burned to ash. I slammed the car door, my briefcase forgotten on the pavement, heart pounding as I sprinted toward the inferno. The fire trucks were already winding down their hoses, sirens silenced, like they'd shown up just to watch the show. What the hell happened? I barked at the nearest firefighter, a burly guy wiping sweat from his brow. He glanced at the smoldering ruins, my two-story colonial reduced to charred skeletons of beams and melted siding, before muttering, "Started around noon. Accelerants involved." Not an accident. Accelerants. The word hung in the air like a noose. My mind reeled. I'd been gone for 3 days at a legal seminar in Chicago, leaving the place locked up tight. No faulty wiring. No forgotten stove. This was deliberate. Gloria sauntered over then, her heels clicking on the asphalt with that deliberate rhythm she used to intimidate at HOA meetings. She was in her mid-50s, bleach blonde bob perfectly coiffed, wearing a pastel blouse tucked into khakis that screamed, "I'm in charge here." Her eyes gleamed with that faux sympathy she reserved for non-compliant residents. "Oh, Ethan, darling," she cooed, her voice dripping with honeyed venom. "What a tragedy. But, you know, if you just signed on with the HOA like the rest of us civilized folks, maybe we could have had those community fire drills or the upgraded sprinklers we voted for last year." She paused, tilting her head like a predator sizing up prey. "Rules are there for a reason, sweetie. They protect us all." I stared at her, smoke stinging my eyes, the heat from the dying flames warming my face even from across the street. "Protect? This is my home, Gloria. Paid off. No mortgage. No drama. Until your little club started harassing me about every damn thing. For months. It had been nonstop. Fines for my mailbox being 1 inch too tall. Warnings about my recycling bin clashing with the aesthetic standards. Anonymous notes about my car parked too close to the curb. All because I refused to join their HOA. That bloated beast of bureaucracy that charged dues for community enhancements, like Gloria's annual holiday light extravaganza that lit up the block like a Vegas casino. I'd heard the whispers that I was antisocial, probably hiding something, spread by Gloria and her cronies at their wine-soaked board meetings. But I kept quiet, observed, documented every infraction they threw my way. I wasn't some hothead. I was a federal prosecutor, specializing in white-collar crime, and I knew how to bide my time. She clicked her tongue, that annoying habit that made her sound like a disappointed schoolmarm. "Now, Ethan, don't go pointing fingers. Could be anything faulty outlets, those overgrown bushes you insist on keeping. We offered to trim them for you, remember, for free, as a gesture of goodwill." Her goodwill was code for control. The bushes were fine. They just didn't match the HOA's mandated uniform landscaping palette. Behind her, a couple of her board members, Harold, the retired accountant with a perpetual scowl, and Vicky, the stay-at-home mom who treated HOA violations like national security threats, nodded sagely, their faces masks of concern that barely hid the glee. The neighbors dispersed slowly, avoiding my gaze, as if acknowledging me would drag them into the mess. No offers of help. No sorry for your loss. Just Gloria's parting shot. Maybe this is a sign to reconsider your stance. The HOA could help with rebuilding if you're a member. She turned away, her SUV beeping as she unlocked it, leaving me in the ashes. That night, holed up in a dingy motel on the edge of town. Couldn't sleep. The fire chief's report came through via email. Definite arson. Gasoline-soaked rags under the porch. A crude timer made from household chemicals. Professional enough to destroy, sloppy enough to leave traces. I thought of Gloria's smug face, her slip about taking action in past emails she'd sent me. Veiled threats wrapped in legalese. Rumors had swirled for years about the HOA's enforcement tactics. Keyed cars for late dues. Tampered fences for non-approved paint colors. I'd been labeled a troublemaker because I questioned their fees at a public meeting once, calling out how they funneled money into Gloria's pet projects while ignoring real issues like potholes. Whispers turned to outright lies. Ethan's probably running a meth lab. Or, he's anti-American for not flying the flag on HOA-designated holidays. I endured it silently, gathering emails, recording meetings on my phone. Patience was my weapon. Now, it was time to unsheath it. The next morning, I made the call from the motel lobby, my voice low but steady. This is Ethan Novak, federal prosecutor. I need an arson squad and FBI involvement. Suspected racketeering tied to a local HOA. The agent on the line paused, then transferred me up the chain. By noon, unmarked vans pulled up to the charred lot. Techs in hazmat suits combing through the debris. Agent Ramirez, a sharp-eyed woman with a no-nonsense ponytail, approached me as I watched from the sidewalk. Mr. Novak, we've got preliminary matches on the accelerant, potassium-based. Not your garden variety stuff. Points to premeditation. I nodded, glancing at Gloria's house down the block, her curtains twitching. Check the HOA board. They've been targeting non-members for years. She raised an eyebrow. Evidence. I handed her a USB drive. Emails, meeting minutes, anonymous complaints filed against me, all traceable to their IP addresses. As the team worked, Gloria emerged from her McMansion, arms crossed over her chest, her face a thundercloud of indignation. "What's all this?" she demanded, marching over with Harold in tow. He clutched a stack of papers like a shield. "You can't just dig around without warrants." Ramirez flashed her badge. "We have one. Federal jurisdiction. Possible interstate elements if materials crossed state lines." Gloria's eyes narrowed, her lips pursing tighter than a lemon rind. "This is harassment, Ethan. You're using your fancy job to bully us? We maintain standards here. Property values have risen 15% since I took over." I met her gaze coolly. "Standards? Like fining the Wilsons $500 for a pink flamingo lawn ornament? Or accidentally poisoning the Ramirez family's dog after they skipped a meeting?" She faltered, her cheeks flushing. "That was a tragic coincidence. And the flamingo violated color guidelines. Tacky. Really?" Harold chimed in, his voice quivering with false bravado. "We're volunteers, protecting the community from people like you who think rules don't apply." I almost laughed, darkly, bitterly. Here they were, standing amid the ruins of my life, preaching about community while their volunteer work smelled like a mafia shakedown. "Rules? Your rules are a joke. Gloria." mandating white Christmas lights only, banning vegetable gardens because they're unsightly. It's control, not community. She straightened, her voice rising to that shrill pitch that could shatter glass. Without us, this place would be a slum. You'd have junk cars and wild parties. Chaos. Ramirez interjected. Ma'am, step back. We're securing the scene. Gloria huffed, retreating but not before muttering. You'll regret this, Ethan. The board won't stand for slander. As she stormed off, I felt the first stir of satisfaction. She'd slipped, admitting more than she realized. The game was on. Over the next week, the investigation snowballed. I crashed at a colleague's guest room, poring over documents late into the night. The FBI pulled HOA financials, dues siphoned into administrative expenses that funded Gloria's spa days and Harold's golf memberships. Emails surfaced, Gloria to Vicky, Novak's a thorn, time for escalation. Remember the Thompson incident? The Thompsons had moved out after their mailbox mysteriously exploded. I subpoenaed neighborhood cameras. One caught Gloria's pearl-white SUV lurking near my house at 2 a.m. the night before the fire. Coincidence, she claimed when confronted at an emergency HOA meeting I gate-crashed. The room was packed with residents, some loyal, others fidgeting nervously. Gloria banged her gavel. Yes, she had a gavel like a tin pot dictator. This meeting is for members only. I stood in the back, arms folded. Public property, Gloria. And since you're under federal scrutiny, transparency's mandatory now. She glared, her composure cracking like cheap veneer. You're spreading lies. The HOA is about unity, barbecues, newsletters, safety. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Old Mr. Patel raised his hand timidly. What about my find for Diwali lights? You said they were fire hazards. Gloria waved it off. Guidelines, dear. We can't have every holiday turning into a circus. I stepped forward. Circus? Like your enforcement squad sneaking around at night? We've got footage. Her eyes darted to Harold, who sweated profusely. That's doctored, Ethan. You're bitter because you live like a hermit. No family, no contributions. Maybe if you joined, you'd fit in. The jab stung. The rumors about my loner status, implying I was unstable. But I smiled thinly. Fit in? Like paying for your ego trips? No thanks. The meeting dissolved into chaos. Residents whispering. A few slipping me notes. They did the same to us. Tensions escalated as more dirt emerged. The FBI raided the HOA office, a converted garage in Gloria's backyard stuffed with files. They found a target list, residents ranked by compliance levels. I was level 3, extreme measures. Notes detailed sabotage sugar in gas tanks. Fake liens on properties. Gloria lawyered up, but her press statement was gold. This is a witch hunt against dedicated volunteers upholding American values. American values? Like arson for dissent? I leaked anonymized docs to local news, watching the backlash brew. Neighbors who'd ignored me now knocked on my temporary door with stories. Vicky tampering mail, Harold forging signatures on petitions. Gloria's facade crumbled. She started canceling meetings, hiding behind health issues. But her emails kept coming, desperate pleas to board members. Stick to the script. Novak's unstable. I replied once. Script's over. Gloria. Curtains. The turning point came when Vicky flipped, offering testimony for immunity. In a dingy FBI interview room, she spilled. Gloria mixed the chemicals in her garage. Said it was A lesson in community spirit. Fingerprints matched. Receipts traced potassium chlorate to Harold's hardware store run. Arrests followed, quiet, dawn raids. Gloria in handcuffs, still in her robe, screeching, "This is outrageous. I'm the president." I watched from across the street, coffee in hand, as agents loaded boxes into vans. Her face, twisted in rage, makeup smudged, was priceless. "Ethan, you'll pay for this," she yelled. I raised my mug. Bill me through the HOA. The trial was a circus of absurdity. Courtroom packed. Media frenzy labeling it Suburban Sopranos. Prosecutor laid out the case. Conspiracy, arson, RICO violations. Gloria on the stand, prim and proper. "We only wanted harmony." Cross-exam. "Harmony like burning homes?" She sputtered. Metaphorically. Laughter erupted, dark, cathartic. My testimony sealed it, detailing years of harassment, the rumors that painted me as a pariah. "They thought silence meant weakness," I said. "It meant strategy." Jury deliberated 2 days. Guilty on all counts. Gloria got 20 years. Harold 15. Vicky probation. The HOA dissolved. Assets seized for victims. In the aftermath, Elmwood breathed freer. I rebuilt my house, solar panels, vegetable garden, no fences. New neighbors hosted real barbecues. No fines for unapproved grills. The city passed reforms. HOA transparency laws. Recall rights. I chaired a state task force, turning personal hell into systemic change. Standing on my porch one spring morning, watching kids play without noise violation fears, I felt vindicated. Gloria's empire of pettiness reduced to a cautionary tale. But tell me, folks, was the HOA the real villain? Or does every neighborhood hide a Gloria waiting to unleash her standards on the unsuspecting? True or false? Power unchecked always corrupts, even in suburbia.